Hey everyone, welcome back. If you've been looking for games that just let you breathe, slow down, and actually enjoy the moment, you're in the right place. Today we're going through 15 cozy games on the Switch that are genuinely worth your time. Let's get into it. LUNAR Remastered Collection. 2 games in a single package. LUNAR Silver Star Story Complete and LUNAR 2 Eternal Blue Complete. Both 90s JRPGs that were pretty much impossible to play on modern hardware until this dropped in April 2025. The first game follows a kid named Alex, who grows up inspired by legends of a heroic dragon master, and one day he actually sets off on that kind of adventure. The second game takes place 1,000 years later, with a completely different cast, including a guy named Hero, who stumbles across a mysterious girl that changes everything. Both stories are classic in the best possible way. Hopeful, emotional, and full of personality. Combat is turn-based with light positioning elements, and you can speed up battles, which is a massive quality of life win. There's even a toggle between the classic pixel look and the remastered visuals using the same save file. Winter Burrow. Picture this. You're a mouse, your parents are gone, and your childhood burrow out in the frozen woods has completely fallen apart. On top of that, your aunt, who was supposed to be taking care of the place, has disappeared. Winter Burrow is a cozy woodland survival game where you go out into the cold, gather resources like wood, nuts, and berries, craft tools, knit sweaters, bake pies, and slowly rebuild your home. You've got 4 things to keep track of: health, warmth, hunger, and stamina. And neglect any of them while exploring, and you'll start losing health fast. The world has other animal neighbors who each have their own stories, and uncovering what happened to your aunt ties the whole thing together. You can decorate your burrow, unlock new crafting recipes, and move at your own pace. Death isn't really a thing here. This is designed to be a calm experience, not a punishing one. Little Kitty Big City. You're a cat. You fell out of your apartment window. You need to get back up. That's the whole setup, and it works perfectly. Little Kitty Big City is a third-person exploration game set in a colorful Japanese city where you do exactly what cats do. Knock things over, sneak up on birds, steal bread from strangers, and squeeze through tiny gaps in fences. To climb back up to your apartment, you need to find fish scattered around the city to build up stamina, which unlocks new climbing spots on buildings. Along the way, you meet a crow who asks for shiny trinkets, a tanuki stuck in a pipe who rewards you with fast travel, and a whole cast of quirky animal characters with little side quests. There are 40 hats to collect and a photo mode to mess around with. The city itself feels small but dense. There's always something tucked into a corner you haven't noticed yet. PowerWash Simulator. I know how this sounds. You wash things. That's the game. But something about the loop of taking a filthy surface and blasting it clean with a pressure washer is genuinely satisfying in a way that's hard to explain until you've actually played it. Each level gives you a different location: a backyard, a playground, a camper van, eventually some pretty wild themed environments. And your job is to get every single surface to 100% clean. You pick your nozzle type, manage water pressure, move around methodically, and chip away at the dirt. There's no timer, no fail state, no pressure whatsoever. The game even has a co-op mode, so you can clean with a friend online. There's a loose narrative delivered through text messages between levels that's actually kind of fun to follow. It's the kind of game you put on when you want your hands to be busy, but your brain to rest. Players across all ages have reported finishing sessions feeling oddly refreshed. Tiny Bookshop. You ditch your old life, drive a tiny car to a seaside town called Buxtonbury by the Sea, and run a mobile, secondhand bookshop out of the back of it. Every day, you park in a different spot around town, stock your shelves with books from different genres, and try to match the right book to the right customer. Regular locals have their own reading tastes, and learning who likes what is a big part of the game. Beyond the books, you collect decorative items for the show plants, candles, little knickknacks, and each one actually affects customer behavior in some way. There's a gentle mystery about the town's history that unfolds as you get to know the residents, and the writing is warm and charming throughout. It's a slow-paced management game more than anything else, and it doesn't pretend to be high stakes. This won the Games for Impact Award at Gamescom 2025, reached over 500,000 players, and has topped the Nintendo eShop charts. Yoshi's Crafted World. This is a platform game that looks like someone built every level entirely out of cardboard, yarn, bottle caps, and craft supplies. And not in a lazy way. In an incredibly detailed, clearly a lot of love went into this way. You play as Yoshi, crossing colorful diorama-style worlds in search of gems called Sun Dream Stones. The main mechanic is throwing eggs at targets hidden throughout each level, and many levels have a flip side, where you run the course in reverse and discover all the hidden items that were tucked behind the scenery. You can also wear costumes made of cardboard that act like extra hit points and change how you look. The whole game has this playful, almost toy box energy to it. It's not particularly challenging in the traditional sense. This is very much a comfort game, but there's a lot of collectible content for people who want to dig deeper. Discounting. You move to a small, run-down town called Blomkest to help your aunt run her dream, a franchise supermarket. From day one, you're doing real supermarket work, stocking shelves, arranging the store layout, running the register, and restocking mid-rush while customers are already walking around. At first, you're doing the math yourself at the checkout, which is more fun than it sounds. Later upgrades like a barcode scanner smooth things out. You can customize the entire layout of the store, move shelves, expand departments, and trade with local suppliers to bring in exclusive items. The town itself has a cast of actual characters with their own storylines: a grumpy fisherman, a struggling local producer, a factory that starts casting a long shadow over the whole community. There's a quiet commentary about what happens when a corporate chain moves into a small town, but it never gets heavy-handed. Super Mario RPG. This is a classic from 1996 that got a full remake on Switch in 2023. New graphics, rearranged music, added content, but the same heart underneath. Mario teams up with Mallow and Geno, two characters who don't show up anywhere else in the Mario universe, and eventually Bowser and Peach join the crew too. The story has Mario and friends taking on Smithy, a weapon maker who crashes into Star Road and scatters the stars across the world. The combat is turn-based, but has a timed action system. If you press the button at exactly the right moment during an attack or block, you deal more damage or reduce it. It sounds minor, but it completely changes how engaged you stay in every single fight. The world is full of humor, memorable side characters, and moments that feel surprisingly heartfelt for a Mario game. The remake adds a boss rush mode and lets you see enemy HP during battles, which is a nice touch. Coffee Talk. You run a late-night coffee shop in a version of Seattle where humans live alongside elves, orcs, werewolves, and other fantasy races. The game plays like a visual novel. Customers come in, you listen to their problems, and you brew them a drink based on what they ask for or what you think they need. Each drink uses a combination of ingredients, and serving the wrong thing or the right thing at the right moment actually changes how conversations go and what endings you unlock. The stories cover real topics: creative burnout, identity, belonging, complicated relationships, all filtered through a fantasy lens that somehow makes them feel more approachable. The art style is pixel-based with a warm, nighttime palette. The lo-fi soundtrack is genuinely great to listen to on its own, and the whole thing has this calm, 3 a.m. in a quiet cafe energy that's unlike most games. Animal Crossing: New Horizons. You move to a deserted island and basically build a life there from scratch. At the start, it's just you, Tom Nook, and 2 random villagers. Over time, you attract more animal residents, unlock shops, museums, and eventually have a full, thriving community you've personally shaped. The game runs on a real-time clock, so seasons change, events happen on actual holidays, and different fish and bugs show up depending on the month and time of day. Core activities include fishing, catching bugs, digging up fossils, decorating your island, and just talking to your neighbors who each have distinct personalities. There's no main quest to rush toward, and no fail state. You just play at your own pace, every day or once a week, and the island is always there waiting. The customization depth is massive, from terraforming the land itself to designing custom clothing patterns. Strange Antiquities. You're the apprentice left in charge of an occult shop in the gloomy town of Undermere, while your employer investigates strange events in the community. Customers come in with unusual problems, a curse, a haunting, a journey they're scared of, and it's your job to find the exact artifact in your shop that addresses their need. The trick is that almost nobody tells you exactly what they want. You listen to clues, cross-reference a growing collection of reference books, inspect items up close, and deduce the answer. Getting it wrong builds up a fear meter, and when that fills up, you have to play a dice-matching minigame to clear your head. As the game progresses, the puzzles get more layered. You're reading maps, interpreting symbols, and tracking down new items from locations around town described in letters and notes on your desk. The world building happens entirely through text and the items themselves, and it's remarkably effective. Snufkin, Melody of Moominvalley. Based on the beloved Moomin characters, this one follows Snufkin returning to Moominvalley in the spring to find the place overrun by a park keeper who has put up fences, banned music, and generally made everything miserable. Your goal is to free the valley by playing music to lift the spirits of the Moomin characters and remove the park keeper's signs and traps. The core mechanic involves sneaking past park keeper guards and using your harmonica to inspire little creatures who then help you dismantle restrictions. It's a stealth-light puzzle game more than anything, with a very gentle touch. The whole thing is quiet and meditative. The animation style is directly inspired by the Moomin illustrations, so it looks like a moving storybook. The music is phenomenal, which matters a lot when your main character literally travels the world playing songs. Story of Seasons. Grand Bazaar. This is a remake of the DS original, rebuilt for Switch and released in 2025. You inherit a small farm in a drought-stricken town called Zephyrtown, and the central hook is that the town's famous Grand Bazaar, a weekly market that used to bring visitors from everywhere, has collapsed. Your job is to revive it. Farming works the way it always has in this series. Plant crops, raise animals, water your fields, harvest what grows. But here, there's an added wind-based mechanic, where seasonal windmills affect how crops grow and how certain events unfold. Every week, you set up a stall at the bazaar, select what to sell, arrange your booth, and interact with customers to bring the market back to life. The more the bazaar grows, the more the town recovers. It's a loop with real stakes built into the world, rather than just your personal farm. There are characters to befriend and marry, festivals to participate in, and years of in-game time to build across.
Yeah!
A short hike. You're a small bird named Claire visiting your aunt at a national park, and she mentions there's phone signal at the top of the mountain. That's it. That's the whole reason you're climbing. A short hike is a tiny open-world game where you explore the park at completely your own speed, hiking, swimming, gliding between trees, talking to the other visitors. To climb faster, you collect golden feathers scattered around the island, each one giving you more stamina for climbing and gliding. Along the way, you meet other park visitors doing their own things, fishing, playing games, looking for something they lost, and you can help them, or not. The game takes about 2 hours start to finish if you go straight up the mountain, but the island has enough to discover that you'll probably spend longer just wandering. The pixel art style is soft and beautiful, the writing is sweet without being saccharine, and there's a sense of space and freedom here that's rare for such a small game. Stardew Valley. You quit your corporate job, inherit your grandfather's old farm in a small town called Pelican Town, and start over. From literally clearing rocks and chopping trees on your first day, to eventually having a thriving farm with crops, animals, buildings, and a full life in the community. Stardew Valley is the gold standard of the cozy game genre, and still the best example of it years after release. You farm, mine, fish, forage, cook, craft, and build relationships with the townspeople, each of whom has their own backstory and character arc. The mines have combat, which adds a bit of challenge and progression in the form of better equipment. There are community goals to work toward, festivals through the seasons, and a main questline that gives you direction without forcing you to rush. The game has been updated consistently since launch. There's now multiplayer, new farm types, expanded endgame content, a new questline, and more. And that's the list. 15 cozy games on Switch that are all worth your time for different reasons. Whether you've got an hour or 100, there's something here for you. Drop your favorites in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.